to number 13 Hercules Street, we almost lost Bali Abundance. Business started to grow, so my niece Kristy was working for me. I was struggling to keep up with everything, so I also employed someone to do the accounts and the BAS. After a while though, my niece Kristy left and I replaced her with another niece, Jade. And everything was going quite well. And in 2013, my daughter Tess decided that she wanted to leave her job and come on board with Bali Abundance. So I jumped at this chance because I really felt I could do with some help. So Tess then took over the accounts and also started to do the eBay listings for me, as well as she quickly learned how to totally manage the business, which freed me up in Bali. I could just focus then on my shopping. I didn't have to worry about what was going on in Melbourne. Tess had that handled. I just had to check to see if there was an email from her. I actually got my forklift license so that my brother no longer had to come down, because I had to stop relying on him coming 2 hours by road or train every time I had a container delivery. So Tess and I both ended up with forklift licenses and were both capable of unloading 40-foot containers. So this also was great help on the day if I was here, but it also meant if a container came and I had a trip to Bali planned, that was fine. Tess would do the unload of the forklift with the forklift. So yeah, things were going really well. With Tess here, she was telling me that I needed to start to take some time off, which was so true, because my family, I think, were all a bit worried about me because I had pushed myself quite hard. And in doing that, she'd be like, "Mum, take a day off." And I really didn't realise that I actually struggled to take a day off. I think I didn't know how to stop. If I wasn't working, I felt quite guilty, and often I wouldn't come in, but I was still working from home. That one day I took myself off to the beach and I did relax, and it was so nice, and I took a book and sent her photos of me at the beach. So yeah, this was something I had to learn to do, how to chill out. It was funny because once I actually did stop, my health actually deteriorated. I think maybe my body had been running on adrenaline, so I started to get headaches, and for about 3 months I had headaches. So when I did take days off, I was going to have massage or going to acupuncture or the osteo, trying to work out why I had these constant headaches. In the end, I went to the doctors and I had a scan, and he called me in and said I needed to have an MRI. And the results came back, and he told me I'd actually had a mini stroke, that I had a lot of white matter on my brain, and there was and that I needed to go and see a neurologist. So this was a pretty scary thing to be told, and at that point I knew that I really did have to learn to stop and change my life. I had already booked a holiday to India because Tess was like, "Mum, just go, I'm here." Some friends were going on a holiday to India, so I decided last minute to join them. And now with this news, I wasn't sure whether to go or not. And then I couldn't see the neurologist for quite a couple of months, so I decided that a holiday was probably just what I needed, that I'd probably caused this through stress. So I went to India, and it was an amazing journey. We had just the best time. One day there, we actually went to see a clairvoyant who told me that I would come back to India for business. And at that time, I didn't believe that to be true. I found it such a vast country and thought, no, I could never do this. But he was actually right, because this year, in January, I did do my first buying trip to India. So yeah, it was just a great journey, and my headaches totally went. and I felt amazing. And I came back to Melbourne, and a short time later, my headaches had come back again. I went to the neurologist when I came back from India, and he actually told me I hadn't had a mini stroke, so that was good news, but that I still had things that I needed to resolve, and that I needed to, if I was going to yoga but my mind was still busy, there was no point, so I needed to find some way where I could stop my crazy brain. So my friend Dot and my daughter Tess decided that I needed to go to a 10-day silent retreat, the Vipassana meditation, and booked me in, and it was starting like a couple of days later. So I unloaded a container that day and had my bag in the car and headed off to Warrigallock for a 10-day silent retreat. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. I, at one stage, did try to leave because I felt so guilty leaving Tess here with a container that had just arrived. But she actually cried and said, "Go back, you need to fix yourself." So I did. I sat on that mat, and for 10 days I did the best job I possibly could and came out of there feeling a new person. It's actually changed my life, and now I really do enjoy the silence. And now if I do start to get headaches, I actually know how to fix myself and know that I'm pushing myself too hard. In 2014, we went to the Hume Business Awards. We were actually nominated. We were a little naive. We didn't actually realise that only finalists were invited. So we got there just thinking it was going to be a fun night out. And someone from the council came up and said, "You realise you're a finalist, that you could win this?" And so I told Tess and Arlene, and when they came to our division, we were up against Telstra, and I really didn't think that we had any chance to win, and they called out Bali Abundance, and Arlene, Tess and I nearly fell off our chairs. So that was a really nice achievement for all the hard work to receive that award. This year had been quite a roller coaster with Tess coming on board, freed me up a little bit, but then my health issues were a problem, but little did I know what was coming up next. Stay tuned for part 2.